Building a social media team within your organization. Hello, my name is James Burns, founder and principal of Project Brilliant, an idea consultancy and digital ventures firm based in Indianapolis, Indiana. Goals for this session. We're going to understand what kind of skills are necessary for a successful social media implementation within your team. We're also going to learn how to structure the role of social media within your organization. It's really critical to understand, first and foremost, that social media's role within the organization is not a marketing department initiative. Too many companies look at it being the marketing department's responsibility for managing the social media presence of the company. Not the case. This is an organization-wide initiative. You need to develop a tactical plan with those who are actually going to be responsible for executing it. It might be someone in marketing who's responsible for managing the social platforms, but we need to be having voices and recognition and responsibility within the entire company to make sure what we're talking about, what we're doing, what we're saying reflects the entire overview of how the company is going to market. What makes a great social media user? First of all, social media is all about words. So finding someone who's a true wordsmith who understands how to use language to find creative ways of saying things is really critical. Another thing that makes a great social media user is their love and desire to communicate. They love talking, they love sharing with what's going on around them. They also have an eye for detail. Why? Because it's about really understanding and talking about the things that the audience are going to respond to the most, which means they have to be able to watch and listen for the things that your audiences are talking about, looking for, or asking for. They also have to love being connected. They have to want to be able to think about what's happening in the organization in a 24/7 mentality. That doesn't mean creating content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but it does mean having an energy and desire to want to know what's happening all the time. They also need to be diligent and trustworthy. This is someone or some team of people who are going to be responsible for really representing your brand. Just as you'd be putting an ad in the newspaper or a commercial on TV, these people are out there talking about and representing your organization. You have to know that they're going to be diligent and trustworthy to reflect and respond to the things that are in the marketplace affecting your brand. Another thing that's really critical is authority. It comes from either a level of expertise in the industry, or it comes from understanding and recognizing what the business is about and having been there from the beginning. Oftentimes, company owners want to be that authority, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're the best choice. You have to look at the broad picture of who's going to represent the brand in the long term, and also how the organization and the brand are going to expand based on the kinds of industries or services you provide. And of course, nothing makes a better social media user than someone who's passionate. Passion shines through every time, and if I had to trump any of these topics, passion would be the first thing we'd go for. Who is our talent is the most critical question to start this conversation from. It's really key to understand that just because someone's young doesn't mean they're the best choice. Interns, new employees who are younger, just because they're using social media such as Facebook and Twitter and other platforms doesn't mean they're the right choice to represent your brand online. You have to look at the entire organization. You have to look at the entire matrix of skill sets, being a good wordsmith, understanding the brand, reflecting the kind of voice and character you want the company to be seen as online. Passion. All these are critical elements that define who in the organization could truly represent you in a face-to-face way as well as in an online way with your customers. And you have to also recognize that as a leader, you have to lead it from the top. To succeed in social media, you must lead it and build a culture of engaged, connected employees. We are in an age of engagement where every customer wants to interact with and talk with every employee. And you have to have employees who recognize that your company's success in the future will be built on transparency and engagement with everyone you're interacting with, from suppliers and vendors to customers. As you look at across the entire matrix of your organization, one of the things that may come up is not really seeing someone who's a clear winner. And a question comes up. Do we need to bring in an outside guru to help our team move more quickly, to help them move forward, or to build a skill set within the organization? That is absolutely an opportunity. But it's really critical to understand that an outside guru or expert, as some of them self-proclaim them to be, is not someone who long-term is going to help you build a culture of engagement. You have to want to build that from within, from the top down. Which brings the question, who's truly in charge here? Who's going to be leading this initiative? And you have to be looking at your whole organization. And you cannot allow the team to just experiment and see what happens. There needs to be great training in place. You need good policy. And you also need a certain level of trust within the organization to build trust outside the organization. One thing an outside consultant may be able to provide you is guidance on the training and developing the policy, so you can build better trust internally to begin to build that trust externally. We need to create a culture of monitors. We need to rely on our managers, our colleagues, and our customers to be watching out and looking for what we're saying, what we're talking about, and how we present our organization. And the social media team needs to expect to have each of those three audiences giving them feedback and truly pushing them to ensure that the brand integrity is maintained throughout the entire social media process. It's important to recognize within the organization that your social media presence is the collective voice of the organization. When social media presences such as your Facebook or Twitter stream present new products, when they talk about new services, when they talk about a customer experience, they're representing every person within the organization. And so the organization needs to hold them accountable to how they speak and how they talk about the company. One of the key questions that has to be asked as you're launching a presence with a team or as an individual is, who truly is the voice? Is it going to be the face of the company? Is it going to be a selective group, an A-team, so to speak, of people within it? Or will the company itself have a voice? Something that's maybe a little bit unusual to say that our company speaks, but it can in fact be an opportunity. Let's look at a couple examples. Here's Scotty's Brewhouse, a Indiana-based chain of restaurants, sports bars. In this case, their owner, Scott Wise, is truly the voice of Brewhouse. He speaks from his perspective as the owner and as the face of the company. It creates great brand loyalty to the organization, but it creates a very specific persona behind who the organization's voice is. In the case of Comcast, there's an entire A-team of individuals. It's led by one individual who is sort of the main voice at Comcast Cares, but he also has an entire team of people who work with him. And because of that, they've created an entire group of relationships being built up with customers all over the country. Here's an example of a company that has a voice. In this case, BlueLock, an Indiana-based technology firm. In their case, they don't have a single individual or a team who's responsible for updating the content on their social platforms. So they rely on the company having a voice because their staff is growing at such a large pace. Any individual person behind a voice will probably change roles as they evolve. This gives the company an opportunity to have a consistent voice through some standards they have internally without necessarily relying on a single face to be known with their customer base and social platforms. Whether you're a team of one or many, keep everyone in the loop within the organization about what's being said to you and also about you. The more opportunity your entire company has to understand how your presence is affecting customers' perception and relationships with you, the better they are to encourage and build that when they're talking with customers one-on-one in person or online. If you have additional questions about this topic, please contact me at the information below.